Before we get started, let me know what comics you'd like for me to make a video on. Sound off in the comments. And if this is your first time checking out my channel, consider clicking subscribe so you can become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers and tap the bell so you know when I post up. What's up, YouTubers? It's Ernie, Blerd Without Fear, and man, I almost forgot that Batman White Knight came out this week. I don't know how I forgot, but you know what? This time I'm gonna try and get it to you on time. So let's just go ahead and jump right into things. Batman is wanted, but not quite dead or alive yet. You see, Gordon is pressing Nightwing and Batgirl to give up his secret identity, something that neither one of them is comfortable with doing. And what makes it even more interesting is the fact that even though Nightwing isn't 100% on board for this, he actually relents and cuts a deal with Napier. A deal that basically specifies that, yes, he will help them bring in Batman because he knows Batman has brought this on himself. Batman has intentionally alienated himself from the family and also turned himself into something really no better than the criminals he goes after with his extreme measures and just how he's been dealing with everything in general. I mean, he destroyed a library, a bridge, and a bunch of people's homes. Ugh. He's making a bad case for himself. But the deal is this. He'll help them, but they have to do it Nightwing's way. Not only that, but Batman is not to be unmasked. His mask stays on. They preserve the legacy of the man who hides underneath it. And Napier's fine with that because he actually feels that Batman broke the law as Batman and should be arrested as Batman, so he's on board for it. But Batgirl is pissed at Nightwing and Gordon for not giving Batman a chance after decades of service to the city. But they just go with Napier just because he reformed a year ago. And I know that's kind of funny because we get a couple of moments that really date how long this story is taking place, and it has taken place within the confines of the story for a year up to this point. There's only one problem. The GTO isn't equipped to take out Batman, so they have to come up with a plan, and that's when Duke Thomas chimes in that they should use an EMP because Batman's gear is all based on technology, high-end computerized technology. But there's one catch. If they use an EMP to disable Batman and the Batmobile and all of his toys, it's gonna take out the GTO's cars as well. And that's until Nightwing suggests a plan just crazy enough to work. The classic 1989 movie Batmobile. Man, every time I hear that, I just get really excited. I don't know why. But man, I just go back to my childhood. It takes me back to 9 years old. But anyway, the reason being because the 1989 Batmobile is analog. It doesn't really use any of the high-powered computerized tech that Batman tends to employ currently. So when that EMP goes off, the lead lining of the classic Batmobile, it's gonna go untouched. Gordon takes point since he feels like Batman is his cross to bear and takes on bats with the classic Batmobile. They even manage to outfox Batman and blind him when they use the EMP and high-powered strobe lights to disorient both him and the Batmobile. Gordon winds up pitting him, but takes his own Batmobile out in the process, and a battered and bruised Batman comes face to face, not with Gordon, but with a shirtless Jack Napier. Round 1, fight! This actually goes surprisingly even matched, but mostly only because Batman is probably about as hurt as he was when he got bodied by Supes in the Justice League movie. Napier ends up besting him, but at what cost? Because now that he's won, he may have made a big mistake. But Jack keeps his word. The mask stays on. Funny thing, Karma, it's weird the way it works, because they don't have to wait long to find out why they should have left well enough alone. Neo Joker strikes with the giant freeze cannon and stops every citizen in their tracks, encased in ice, and barricading many others inside their homes and places of business. And Neo Joker has one demand, and one demand only: send the Joker. Meanwhile, in Mr. Freeze's lair, Batgirl is furious with Freeze because of the giant freeze cannon outside Gotham, but Freeze is a man of logic, even enough to realize that Batgirl is in a state of distress. Enough that he kind of ignores how furious she is, and he's also smart enough to realize who she really is, that she's Barbara Gordon, about as easily as he deduced Bruce Wayne was Batman. But he won't reveal her identity. He won't reveal Bruce's either, because he promised Alfred he wouldn't, as a last dying wish when Alfred begged him to hook Bruce up to the miracle cure they were using to save Alfred's life, even though it meant Alfred's end. And Freeze admits he still wouldn't do it, even if Alfred hadn't made him promise on his deathbed that he wouldn't. Freeze also reveals why he's indebted to Bruce, because of the Waynes, that he loved them, and that it was Thomas who paid for his wedding to his darling Nora, and that Thomas was like a father to him all those years, even more so than his own father. He never built the weapons of war for Thomas. The tech they took from the Nazis was meant for medical industry purposes, as Thomas, we all know, was a doctor. It was a medical lab they were building with the stolen goods, not an armada or any kind of weapon of mass destruction. But the government wanted war, and his father gave it to him, oddly enough, for the Cold War. Freeze informs her he didn't build the gun. He hates the damn thing. It was a creation of his father, Baron von Freeze, something he made for the US while under Thomas Wayne's protection when he was still a Nazi war criminal. He has no interest in lifting a finger to do anything, though, because Nora is at her end, and he wants to be by her side, and he asks Batgirl to leave them in peace. Things go from bad to worse when we realize that Joker is overdoing it on his meds. And worse, he's not taking Harley Quinn's advice to be careful with Neo Joker. Marianne Drews was no different than Harley Quinn in that she's a woman desperate for love. The love of a man she wants to be with, the Joker. No different than how Harley wants to be with Jack Napier, and that he's a fool to underestimate her, and that he needs to let Batman handle this, because Jack thinks Neo Joker is just some groupie, hot topic reject. And he's wrong. Something he's already been proven of since she struck out on her own. And he's wrong about Batman too. He needs Batman, and technically, Batman needs him. The whole time this has been going on, Harley has warned him they need to work together. Funny thing, Batgirl gets around really fast because she witnesses the tail end of their argument, which leads me to believe Harley and Batgirl are going to wind up having a classic Batman the Animated Series team up next issue. But we're not finished, because with the GCPD at their wits' end and the US government declaring a state of emergency in Gotham, something that Jack Napier feels that Gotham can handle itself, no one seems to know what to do except for one man. And his name is the Joker. This book flew by me so fast. When I was reading this, it just, like, everything was a page turner. Like, everything was just flowing so well. And this book is so well written. This is probably one of the best books out right now. Like, DC is killing it right now. I'm sorry, but I don't care. You can hate on the DC movie, the DC Extended Universe, or whatever they call their shared universe movies, whatever, but I'm sorry. Sean Murphy is killing it on all levels. I would love to see him actually, I love what Tom King is doing with the main flagship Batman title, but I would love to see what Sean Murphy could do with just the entirety of just the Batman universe. This man has crafted a world that is purely based on Batman media, like the movies, the animated series, the comics too. But man, he has done his homework. There are so many nods. The classic 1989 Batmobile looks perfect, picture perfect from the movie. And there's just so many nods from issue 1 up to this point. But anyways, let me know what you think about Batman White Knight number 6. Sound off in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button. And if you want to see more awesome videos like this one, make sure you click subscribe so you can become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers and tap the bell so you know when I post up. Thank you for watching this video, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Plus Ultra!